So what are we really saying when we say potential? You have so much ability to manifest what you hold in you, and you're only doing a tiny fraction of it. There is so much more that's possible, because as Shakti, we are limitless. Is it Shakti? Is it Prakriti? What is ailing in us? It is the Prakriti that has got disbalanced. Shakti can never be touched. She can never be changed. She can never be harmed. She can never be damaged. So there are two forces within us. One is Shakti, one is Prakriti. And let us differentiate between them. They are very intimately connected. The Shakti within us. Can you think of something which is both the means and the end? That is devotion. When one is in the act of devotion, it's complete in itself. That is the mystery. You don't need anything. I'd like to begin with my obeisance to the Puri Kshetra. Kshetra means field. It's a powerful field of consciousness that we are sitting in right now. And it affects us in different ways. Each one of us will have our own electromagnetic interaction with the field, and our own very personalized experience of it. Some may feel it, some may not feel it, but it's working. And it will give us certain experiences and transformations. Once again, some we may be aware of, some we may not be even aware of, and it will be felt later. So yeah, it's a very mystical place. And the feminine loves mystery, doesn't she? And we know that in our bones. So the Puri Kshetra is shaped like a conch, and the center of it is Lord Jagannath. And one of the most popular prayers to the Lord is Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami Bhavatu Me. O Lord of the universe, may you forever remain before my eyes. So the word Jagannath means Jagat, which means the world or the universe, and Nath means the Lord. So the one who is the Lord of the universe. So we come to the first aspect of the Kumbh, which is Shakti. Each one of you here is a master in your own field, in whichever place you are, and the work that you do and the difference that you make to the world. So it's actually a great honor for me to be sitting here in the presence of so many empowered Shaktis. So it's not that I'm here to give some huge wisdom, not at all. I'm in the same learning process as all of us here. We know these things in our bones. We don't have to study Shastras to know a lot. That's the beauty about women's circles. When we sit together, the field is activated. And the center of the field is Shakti herself. So she is the true teacher. And we begin to feel her presence and we begin to remember. So actually it's a journey of remembrance. Oh yeah, that sounds so right. That sounds somehow I know this, that kind of a feeling begins to happen. And that's very precious. And it's so good that conversations of the divine feminine are happening, and we are not going to be burnt as witches because we are doing that. It's so safe to do this. And all of you have traveled from such far distances to come here. And that's so amazing. Each one of us is seeking something, is wanting to know something, wanting to find something. So when we speak of the divine feminine, in India, we use two words. One word that we use is Shakti, and another word that we use is Prakriti. And we use it interchangeably as synonyms, but there is a difference. And today we will talk about, fine-tuning into what is that difference. I'd like to begin with a sukta from the Rig Veda. In the Rig Veda, all mystical traditions have their own story of how the universe began. And the Rig Veda also has a story of how it all began. Was it a big bang? What happened? So there is a sukta called the Nasadiya Sukta, which said, in the beginning there was nothing. The one who was there was the breathless one. There was neither this nor that, neither up or down, neither existence nor non-existence, neither fullness nor emptiness. And within that, a desire arose. Imagine, in that absolute voidness, a desire arose. And what was that desire? I will not even call it a space, because space had not been created. There was no space, there was no time, there was no light, there was no dark, nothing was there. So that wanted to know itself. It got bored being nothing. So let's have some fun. So out of that desire, oneness became two-ness. And then it started expanding. So everything has been created out of desire. So let nobody ever tell us that desire is a bad thing. No, there are a lot of spiritual traditions in India also which say we have to overcome desire. But as women, we know that that's not the way. Deep in our bones, we know that. And that is the energy of Eros. And as the creatrix, we know that that is where we create from. And then we will also touch upon Shringar, which really brings the energy of Eros right into the center, because she is the divine feminine. So let's first begin with Shakti. She's the aliveness, the fact that we are alive, and the one that brings life to everything, that animates. Sometimes we feel very dead and there's no life. So what we need is a dose of Shakti. And there are times when we are so alive. Everything is so beautiful, no? Everything is heightened. Experience is heightened. So she's the all-pervading force of the universe. She's life itself, moving. Many of us use that word movement when we describe Shakti. And that is so true. She's doing things. She is Spanda. Spanda is the throbbing. It's a vibration, it's a pulse. So like even scientists say that the earth has a heartbeat. So everything is throbbing in the universe. There is a sacred pulse in the universe which is called the Spanda. So that is the feminine, that is Shakti. She's there, pulsing. You can feel her. It's easier for us to feel her in the heart, but she's also throbbing in the womb, which is the center of Shakti in our bodies. When we do a lot of womb consciousness work, then we will start feeling the throbbing in the womb also. Maybe some of you do that. Another very important description of her is that she is the experiencer. She is the agency through which we experience, through which we know. Otherwise, consciousness does not even know it is consciousness. It has no experience of it. It is there. But for consciousness to understand, it is conscious. For light to understand, it is light. This is also light. But we describe consciousness as light, prakash. But if Shakti is not imbued in it, it will never know itself. It will literally not be intelligent. Our ability to experience ourselves comes from Shakti, to experience the other. So the experiencing power, the knowing is her. That knowing is her. So these are very subtle things, but very, very alive. And that power is called Vimarsha Shakti. Vimarsha. There's a technical word for it. Normally, people, when they're asked to describe Shakti, they say Shakti is power, which is true. But power held right, not any power. Power held right. There are a lot of people in the world holding power. But look at what's happening to the world. Shakti inherently is a feminine quality. And when I say feminine, of course, I don't mean male or female. That we know. It's different. It's feminine and masculine, equally present in all. But as women, we are innately more connected with the feminine. Also, sometimes we are more masculinized, but Yes, she is power. So, what I believe is that as women, we have given away our power. We either given it away or it's been taken away from us. No? You cannot make decisions about your life. We will tell you what to do. As from little girls, we are told, even boys, that this is how you will dress, this is what you will eat, this is which school you will go to, this is how you'll study, this is the time you will do this is the college you will go to, this is the boy you will marry. In India, that is definitely there. Now you must have children, now you must do this. So every time, everything is told to us, whether it's the politicians or it's the priest, whatever, it's the husband or the father. Yes. So, what happens to our personal power? The more it is given away to others, so we'll even lose the ability to be choiceful, the ability to say yes when we want and no when we want. It's all taken away from us. So, then what happens? That power is taken away, we become powerless. And where does that power go? It goes to people who it's not meant to be with. And I can tell you for certain that if my power has been taken away by somebody else and they are using it on my behalf, it will not be used for my benefit, for my good. So it makes sense for us as women to take our power back and use it for ourselves in a dharmic way. Lot of women, when I speak about, since I'm somebody who works with women and on the divine feminine and help midwife reclaiming that the divine feminine back into ourselves and our bodies. There are a lot of women who have a resistance to the word power. They can't take it. They don't want to think about it or hear about it. But then I tell them, don't think of it as power, think of it as Shakti. Immediately something settles in the body. Ah, that I can deal with. So there is a difference when you say Shakti, there's a difference when you say Shakti automatically means power held rightfully, dharmically, doing the right thing. It's not power over. That's not power at all. No, a lot of men hold power, very powerful positions, but they want to hold power over others. In a lot of conversations around leadership, men would like to define leadership as leaders are those who have a lot of followers. That's power over. Leaders are those who make lots of leaders. That's Shakti. Because when somebody is truly empowered in her Shakti, everybody around her will thrive, will become more alive. Because it's a radiating presence. No, it's a spanda. It's a vibration. People feel it and feel enlivened. She's not just devotion. She is absolute delight, the joy. So when the feminine is truly blazing in us, there will be a lot of joy. We'll feel that joy. That's her presence running in our bodies. That's how she would like to live. Unfortunately, many of us, because Shakti is not alive in us, there are diseases, there is dullness, there's depression, there are addictions, and all kinds of things that happen with us in our lives, struggles, pain, suffering. That is also Shakti. And we have chosen to hold her like that in our bodies. She says, okay, if that's how you want me to be alive within you, so be it. I will come as suffering, I will come as pain. That's me too. But then if we decide, no, I'd like you to come into me as joy, then she says, fine, take a turn. Enliven me. So I'm just showing you one very powerful place of Shakti that is very close from here. Maybe an hour and a half drive from Puri. So many of us have heard the term yogini. I think in the West, this term is very popular, yogini. A yogini means a female person of great power, spiritual power. So this is the 64 yogini temple. So we all know of women's circles and divine feminine circles, sacred circles of women. We all sit in a circle. So this is the original circle. And I think it's part of your journey. You will be going to this temple, and it's open to the sky and charged by the elements of nature. And why do you think it is open to the sky? Because all the yoginis, they fly in the night. They fly out and they fly back. If you have seen certain Buddhist paintings of Dakinis, no? They're all flying. They have the power to fly. So maybe as we continue to do our own work, we will do that one. We'll all be flying. You don't have to take aeroplanes and come. So these are some pictures of us in the temple as devotees of the Divine Feminine. We go there regularly. How enlivening that place is when we go there. You feel them. So Shakti is a very interactive field. Very interactive field. Another word we use is Prakriti. Prakriti is a creation. When she takes form, when she takes physical form, it is called Prakriti. So we usually describe Prakriti as nature, trees and earth and water and fire and all that. Human beings, this is also Prakriti. What is your Prakriti? What is my Prakriti? Means what is your nature and my nature? So it is definitely nature. When Shakti says, let me appear, then she becomes Prakriti. So from being just consciousness, she takes form. Anything that has form is Prakriti. And that is all, men and women. So we don't say only women are Prakriti, men are not. No, it's not like that. And Prakriti is formed out of 3 Gunas. Maybe you have heard of them. Have you? Yeah? Anybody who hasn't heard of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas? Maybe some of you have not heard about it. Yeah. So Prakriti has 2 forms. One is Moola Prakriti and one is Prakriti. Moola Prakriti is before she takes form. She is always present. She is the potential energy. All of us are sitting with so much potential energy. No, all of us are being told, you must live your potential. You must live your potential. You're not living your potential. We tell our children, you have so much potential. So what are we really saying when we say potential? You have so much ability to manifest what you hold in you. And you're only doing a tiny fraction of it. There is so much more that's possible because as Shakti, we are limitless. If we understand the rules of nature, what is it that we cannot do? No, there's the story of this woman whose child got trapped under a car. Everybody knows that. She just lifted up the car. And after that, when she was asked to do that again, she couldn't do it. She became absolute Shakti in that moment. And we've all had some experience of that in our lives, I'm sure. Especially when the protectress is, comes alive in us. Then we become very fierce. Mula is the source or the root Prakriti, the root nature. So Mula Prakriti is the primordial nature, the unmanifest pure potential, the precondition for form, the uncaused cause. Every effect has a cause. Now you can keep going back. Some effects of causes we can link. It's because of this that this happened. And some it becomes very difficult because the cause is very remote. We know why we got a cold because, yesterday I had, the AC was very high or I had too much cold water or whatever. But why am I suffering this when I have never harmed anybody in my life? A lot of people say that. Then why am I suffering so much? What is the cause of that? We can't pin it. The cause is so remote that we can't see it. But when we come to Prakriti, Mool Prakriti, she is the uncaused cause. You cannot go further back to that. She is the ultimate cause. That is Mool Prakriti. She is always in a state of equilibrium when the 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva is like something that is very pure and clear. Yeah. And Rajasic is activity. And Tamasic is no activity. Sometimes used as the word sloth. Nothing is happening. So when these three are in perfect balance, then she is in her Mool Prakriti. When the disbalance between them happens, creation begins. That is the source of creation. She is cosmic software in a dormant state. So these are some technical things which are there in Sankhya. In Sankhya, this has been very clearly explained as the first thing that is created out of when Mool Prakriti creates, the first thing that is created is Buddhi, the Mahat. You can call it intelligence. A lot of people think that Buddhi or intelligence is not Prakriti. It is consciousness. No, it is not. Our intelligence is Prakriti. It is feminine, not masculine. You say, oh, logic is masculine. Yeah, that is generally correct in the way we describe it, but it is all part of Prakriti. So, and out of that, all the other sense organs, ears, and all that. And then she becomes differentiated. There is you and me. There is other and me comes, and expression happens. For many of us, expression is blocked. No, when we hear a beautiful song, when we see a beautiful dance, and we say, "Wow, I wish I could express like that." Oh, a poet, how beautifully they express themselves. Expression is open. Shakti is flowing. And sometimes what happens to us, we do say, and the words are not coming. It's all a play of these things. So is Prakriti matter? Of course. That is how we generally understand, and it is correct, that all matter is Prakriti. The word matter comes from, the matter comes from there. But unfortunately, in many spiritual traditions, matter is looked down upon as something we have to overcome and transcend, transcendence. Spirituality is all about transcendence. From here, we have to go somewhere else. And Shakti is saying, where will you go? It's not possible to transcend me. The word that is used for the feminine is immanence. You may have heard that word. In Christian theology, these two words are very popular. Transcendence and immanence. Transcendence is a very masculine way of looking at your personal growth. Immanence is a very feminine way, which means, where will you go? Everything is here. Everything is animated. Everything is alive. God is everywhere. In Hindi, we say, kan kan mein Bhagwan. In every little atom, there is divinity. So this chair is also divine. This table is also, this room is divine. This space. We are calling this place a kshetra. The space is divine. And as women, we innately connect to that. This bhav, this sentiment that everything is alive and needs to be respected. Otherwise, we will not disrespect our rivers, our oceans, the air and the earth. We will not cut down a forest to make stone buildings, cement buildings. What have we done? Because we do not see the divinity of matter. It is something to be dominated. This is what is happening to the divine feminine. So as women, we have to quickly awaken our Shakti and take our power back from people who are doing this. That we will not allow you to do this anymore. This is our planet. We take it back. So Prakriti is not just matter, she is also rhythm. Everything is rhythmic in the universe, no? Everything moves in cycles. Is there anything in the universe that is not cyclical? Everything is moving like this. No, she was talking about the Sudarshan Chakra, which Krishna holds on his little finger. It's always moving. It cuts through untruth. That is Shakti incarnate. Always moving, cyclical. Everything in the universe is cyclical, and even women's bodies are made like that. So Sattva is illumination and balance. Rajas is motion, friction, longing. Rajas is always moving towards something. That moving towards something in us, that is Rajas. And Tamas is density, containment and rest. So when we go to sleep at night, it is the energy of Tamas. When we wake up in the morning, we wake up because Rajas has risen. When we study something or we understand something, now I get it. That is Sattva. Clarity. Balance. All the problem arises when the flow between these three is not smooth. When there is stuckness. That is when trauma happens. In today's world, we know that a lot of conversation around trauma. All of us are holding so much trauma in our bodies and our nervous systems are dysregulated, and there's so much talk about how to regulate our nervous system to bring it back into balance. So, which part of the divine feminine is it that we are healing when we heal trauma? Just an interesting question I want to throw to you. Is it Shakti? Is it Prakriti? What is ailing in us? It is the Prakriti that has got disbalanced. Shakti can never be touched. She can never be changed. She can never be harmed. She can never be damaged. So there are two forces within us. One is Shakti, one is Prakriti. And let us differentiate between them. They are very intimately connected. The Shakti within us heals the Prakriti within us. The Shakti is ever flowing and ever present, and she's purity and divinity. She understands balance. So if we invoke her, she is who we are invoking. We may be doing it by paying some money to a therapist, but we can invoke Shakti to bring balance back into our Prakriti. This Prakriti has got disbalanced. Illness has come in. No? Does that make sense? So all the healing work that each one of us, if you're here, that means you're in this journey of healing and inner transformation. We're healing our Prakriti, which has gone off balance. Because look at the state of our world we live in. It's not a surprise that everybody is disbalanced. And so are we. So we have to bring ourselves back into that beautiful perfection that we are, which is Shakti. And we invoke her to do that. So in our journey of evolution, if we do not understand the divine feminine, it's very difficult. If we try to avoid her and do the work and say, I will transcend her, I will bypass her, it won't happen. So Prakriti is the way consciousness organizes itself into rhythms of experience. She's the organizing principle of the universe. Another way we misidentify Prakriti is by misunderstanding the word Maya. So many spiritual traditions say Maya is illusion. Have you heard? Anybody has heard that? Maya means illusion. That is the falsity. But that is an incorrect explanation of Maya. Ma means to measure. The word Ma means to measure. So anything that can be measured and is finite is Maya. Anything that is measurable is Maya. Especially in Indian spiritual traditions, Maya is considered as a trap, as an evil witch who will trap you. As per the Gaudiya Vaishnava theology, Maya never traps anyone. We go to her and say, you're so attractive. I want to spend more time in this world rather than in the divine world. Arising out of a wrong understanding of what is joy, what is fulfillment. And the minute we turn towards the divine, she steps back. She says, my job is done. So the only delusion is when we mistake the measure for the whole. Prakriti, if we take this is all that is, then that is a problem. As women, we know, especially when we work with our hands, when we create something, how satisfying it is. Whether it's knitting a shawl, or it's cooking, or it's painting, creating art, or dancing, or whatever it is, gardening, making pickles or jam. It's something very therapeutic. Unfortunately, we are now, everything can be ordered over Amazon, so we have stopped doing that. Even making the bed or ironing clothes hugely regulates the nervous system. Kneading dough hugely regulates the nervous system. We have to really go back to working with our hands more. So scientists always want to find the edge of Prakriti. No, you're always building bigger and bigger telescopes and bigger microscopes. And we are finding the same structure. whether you're looking through a microscope or into the skies. We are fascinated by the skies. And the sages in India say, study yourself, you will find the same thing. That's all you have to do, study yourself. Now we come to the subject of Shringar. So have you noticed how life is different when your heart is open, when colors look brighter, when you feel drawn towards beauty, connection, or tenderness? Indian traditions give a name to that quality of aliveness. And that name is Shringar Rasa. So now we are switching to another very, very beautiful expression of the divine feminine, which is Rasa. Want to take a guess? What is Rasa? Who wants to be a juicy woman? Everybody. Who doesn't want to be a juicy woman? Or a juicy man? Yesterday, the earrings that she bought from Bangalore airport, Shringar, no? She said, look at my Shringar. So, yes, we call dressing up as Shringar, but what dressing up actually does is, when we do it consciously, when the gopis used to dress up in Vrindavan, they were all the sweethearts of Krishna. So when they would wear their earring, they were thinking of Krishna. Will he like this? When they would put the bindi, they were thinking of him. With every act, something was coming alive in them. And they were putting their kajal. I want to make my eyes so beautiful that he can't look away from me. And when they would wear their clothes and wear that belt on their waist, tinkling bells, and the tinkling bells on their feet, and when they would sway their hips and walk, their whole body was one map of sensuality. Their hearts were alive, their wombs were alive. That is Shringar. Not what we do when we get up in the morning and get ready to go to work or whatever. Put something and we are out. If you take just 5 minutes extra to enjoy that experience of dressing up, dressing up for yourself because I want to feel good. The scientific way in which jewelry was designed also. Each, like for example, there is a particular nerve here. If it is pierced, then something happens. Now this is the place where the third eye chakra is. Today we put those other bindis, no sticker bindis, no, that we put. But earlier we used to put a particular powder which had certain properties. When you put it here, this blaze is open. Then something is put here. Then and then the bangles, there are certain nerves here which need to be activated. There's a tradition in Bengali married women that we wear an iron bangle always, because this balances the hemoglobin in the body. And where the waist belt is put, where the anklets are put, and then the toe rings, like I'm wearing these toe rings. These also energize certain nerves, make a matrix inside the body. So it's not just anything. But we've forgotten that. Even hairstyles, different hairstyles for different occasions. Today we just not leave it open or make it into a ponytail. But if you go to the 64 Yogini temple and ask you to look out, every single Yogini has a different hairstyle. If there are 64 Yoginis, there are 64 hairstyles. So what is rasa? That which is tasted. It's the lived flavor of an experience. When we are fully present, it's not an emotion. There is a distinguishment between a rasa and an emotion. Both are experienced. But our emotions come out of a very conditioned responses. Rasa arises when the I disappears and only the experience remains. In its purest form, the self is not present. And if we have gone through an experience of a rasa, we will always be left energized. In a normal crying and weeping and venting, we will feel drained. But when we weep because our hearts are breaking apart because of pain of separation from the beloved, It's exquisitely delicious. There is a difference. Even that Raudra, which is anger, will leave us energized. So it's a very divine quality, I would say. So even a drop of rasa, if we can truly experience, sometimes we experience it when we are witnessing a very beautiful performance, where the artist who is performing has channeled something divine. Everybody in the audience will receive rasa from there. Shringar is the queen of rasas. Out of all the rasas, there are 9 rasas, I will not go into that, but she is the queen. It's about love, beauty, longing, union. And the dominant emotion is rati. So it is pure eros. There is a longing for union in Shringaras. You want to unite with someone. So senses become, when we are experiencing that Shringar, there will be a blush in the cheeks. There will be more color. The eyes will become very bright and sparkling. The world will look very beautiful. Suddenly there is more light. There's more contrast. Creativity becomes very high when we experience this. When you're in love, remember the time when you were madly in love, how it felt. You were creative, your voice was more lyrical, things were easy. That is Shringar. The body is softer. Attention is very deep because it's very focused. It's very restorative also. When we experience Shringar, it's very restorative. I hope I'm getting something across about what Shringar is. Like this picture, if you see. Just look at the way they are gazing at each other. Look how she's standing. Look at the curves of her body. Look at the nature around. Everything evokes Shringar in this picture. There's certain things that evoke, this, even a cool breeze can remind you of your beloved. You go out and the fragrance of flowers. These are all enhancers of Shringar. The moonlight, a dream. The person who experiences rasa is called a rasik. The word is rasik. There are very few rasiks in the world. The one who understand the subtleties of life. A rasik is one who sees the smallest nuances of things. They will notice. There are a lot of people who can enter into a very beautiful room and not notice the beauty around. No, oh, that painting on the corner is so beautiful. I love this rough texture of the wall. I immediately noticed it. And I love the paintings and the pictures of stones that are here. I love the way the creepers are there around the pool. So just take it all in and it enhances the beauty. Or you could just come in, sit, listen and go and not notice. Once a friend and I, we went to a cafe and we were served tea in exquisite navy blue ceramic cups and saucers. And for me, while the tea was very delicious, the experience of that cup and saucer was equally delicious. And then later on, I told my friend, do you remember those cups and saucers from which we drank the tea? She said, no. I said, you remember the color? She said, no. And there I was dying just because the cup and saucer was so beautiful. So, what do you pay attention to? There's a very beautiful poem by David Whyte, if you follow David Whyte. Anybody? Yeah? He says, everything in the world is waiting for you. Everything in the world is waiting for you. Just for you. Let us become more sensory. Then we can enjoy Shringar. We enter into it. Now we come to the last, which is Bhakti. So Bhakti makes the divine personal. If you take Bhakti as devotion, then there is a personal relationship, like what we were listening to in the morning, that the people of Puri and Odisha, they have a very personal relationship with Lord Jagannath. Hey Kalya, he's a family member. Also the gopis in Vrindavan, they would get angry with him, call him names. You scoundrel, they would say. You vagabond, you lout, all kinds of names, because there is such deep familiarity. And if you are in a relationship with Krishna, he hates formality. He hates formality. If you say, "Oh, my dear Lord, you are the Lord of the universe," he will just scratch his head and look the other side and say, "Oh God, this is so boring." But if you say, "Hey, let's go to a cafe and have a cup of tea," he'll say, "Yeah, let's do that." He also craves a personal relationship. So that is bhakti. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed in his life's teaching, the devotion itself is not just the means but also the end. Can you think of something which is both the means and the end? That is devotion. When one is in the act of devotion, it's complete in itself. That is the mystery. You don't need anything. Many times the gopis were offered liberation. Mukti it is called. So many times they were offered mukti. The sages, the great sages, they were offered mukti who worshipped Krishna. And they always refused it. They say, mukti means when you are liberated means that you become one. Then you lose your personal identity. They said, then everything will be lost for us. For me, worshipping you is beyond liberation. So there are 4 Purushartha in life. This is called the 5th Purushartha, the 5th goal of life, which is devotion. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. I will not go into too much technicalities. These are called the 4 Purushartha of human existence. Bhakti is beyond that. So do you have any thoughts or questions about bhakti or devotion? Like if you completely devoted to your child, isn't that so satisfying in itself? Yes. So beautifully said. So beautiful. And you do not want anything in return. There is no manipulation. Of course, there is bhakti where you say, I will do your puja, you give me this reward. That kind of transactional thing also happens, which is fine. In India especially, I will give you 5 laddus if you make me pass the exam. So there's a trade also that goes on, but he likes that too. But then in that ultimate expression of the gopis of Vrindavan, for example, they don't want liberation. They want eternally to be in that exquisite bliss that Shringar brings, that Bhakti brings, that fills them up so much that they're always blissed out. Isn't this beautiful way of describing Bhakti or devotion? Devotion to the divine, where you offer your whole sweet experience of your life back. What do? We offer a flower. What can we offer? There is a line in our Arati where we sing, Tera tujhko arpan, kya jata hai mera. This flower is not made by me, it's made by you only. Your thing only I am giving to you. What is in it which is mine? Is there anything I can give you which is not made by you? But when we offer that flower to the Lord, in that flower is the fragrance of our love. And we are hoping maybe that will go to the Lord, to my beloved, to the Lord or the lady, whoever it is we are worshipping. I can only express back the sweetness of my experience to you. That's all. You gave me this life, you gave me this world, you gave me this experience. Yes, what I did is I made it sweet. It was bitter when I came, but I made it sweet with my effort. And that now I'm offering back to you. It's the completion of a cycle. Can you see? The cycle is complete. Nothing is left undone. And that is liberation. When nothing is left undone. And only the sweetness keeps getting heightened and heightened and heightened and heightened. In the evening we will see Rasa is always escalating. You have this beautiful experience and you think, I think I could die now. Because I don't think there can be anything more than this. And then, next day you will be given another experience, which is even higher than that. Imagine living in a state where you're always on the edge of ecstasy. It's possible. So the cycle is complete. And it is done. Thank you.